Today we're going to review the EcoReal Tools GBIM Material Tracking tool. Important concepts are that this is always live and maintained throughout the project. It replaces the static spreadsheets, yet utilizes spreadsheets to help the collaboration of teams. It prompts for accurate reporting. It auto imports, it validates, and it updates the master log. And it integrates with EcoReal collaboration tool. And it's simple to use. This product fills the gaps and simplifies the process. Let's take a quick look at how this will be rolled out. The demonstrated use case here is that it's Excel spreadsheet driven, allowing your collaboration teams the ability to work in a familiar environment, simply filling out an Excel spreadsheet, placing that Excel spreadsheet and the submittal documents into a single folder and uploading them to a place in the cloud, or they can be emailed to the coordinator at EcoReal Tools, depending upon how you write up the specification. The important thing is that they must have Excel files and the submittals in the same folder, and then the process follows from there. EcoReal will use, in this use case, EcoReal Tools Collaboration Backbone. And this is very important. This is probably the single most important thing to recognize in having a successful lead implementation and tracking your materials. It is very important that the process is in the specification prior to the bid. That is one of the single most important things. And that way you can be sure that the subcontractors are aware of what there is required of them, and you should also be putting into the bid what is the consequence of not following the process. Okay, well, let's get into it. This is a sample of an EcoReal solution provided SMDS sheet. The SMDS sheet is pre-populated with much of the information that you'll need, so that it allows the subcontractor to fill in just a few bits of information and be able to attach this to his submittal and allow for an auto population of the EcoReal Tools MT tracking solution. So let's go through it. In this case, we have the subcontractor list, and we only have a short list, but let's just say for this case of this sample that this is the concrete subcontractor. As you can see from a pre-populated list, it gets its phone number and his fax number. We then can call up his division, which then will allow us a short list of what it is that he needs to fill in our rules engine. After that, filling in the basic information about the submittal is all that needs to be done. Simple manufacturer, contact phone number in case we need to get a hold of the supplier, and then we move into the information that is required. Regional material and resource credits, simply filling in the yellow requested information, the percentages as requested, the zip code location, and what percentage was within the 500 miles. Now saving it into the folder where you already have located SMDS sheet for the project. That name will be decided upon via your specification standards. So in this case, we'll just randomly come up with a numbering scheme. The two documents that are required are these basic two documents, the SMDS sheet and the submittal form. And if those are placed into the same folder, then all that needs to be done is that this folder needs to be copied to a pre-mapped location. As you can see, We have mapped the drive to an L drive, so this is basically working like a mapped network drive inside of your own firewall, and simply pasting it down completes your requirement to submit the documentation. I'll do a few more of these just to give you an idea of how this will work. Here we'll fill one out for the painting subcontractor. Again, just choosing his name from the list, populates his contact information, verifies what division he's working on, and that gives the basic CSI division code, which, as you can see, is locked so that you cannot make the mistake of putting in information that's not required. From a manufacturer, do have to supply the contact information unless that's a known manufacturer, and therefore it would come up in a list if that's what has been decided before the project. And in this case, it is an indoor environmental quality issue that does fall under EQ 4.2. And we simply choose from the list that is pre-populated from the top, and that's dry fog coatings. We get our reference code for what is it, our VOC limit, which is picked up. We fill in, and we need to fill out regional requirements, which means that we do need to tell how much things cost. And there's nothing recycled in this. It came out of a local zip code. Percent was done. Okay. And then save. Save into a folder that contains the submittal information. Name it on the agreed upon nomenclature. And then copy the folder. Into the incoming folder of the map to drive. And you've completed that. EcoRail coordinators simply log in using their own login credentials. And they're presented with a share site that is fully configurable, but the main points that I like to point out is that they have a tracking widget that allows the coordinator to get an instant feedback of where they are in the process. They can see the recently updated files. As you can see, the SMDS sheets have been populated here. And then what is required for them after reviewing the sheets to make sure that they visually seem to fit what needs to be done, they simply click the tracker. And again, you can see that this widget and this widget are in sync with each other, and the main difference is this one's just giving warnings and this one's being very specific about what the warnings are. So when it comes time to update, after a quick review of what has been coming in as we talked about through the collaboration site, you simply log into the material tracking software, press auto import, start the importation process. And as you can see, we had 3 successful imports and 1 failure. So we can simply go to the site and we can see that we're logged in to the incoming. There's nothing in this folder anymore. And we can see that there's been 3 files that have been processed. There's 1 error. And inside the error, it tells what the problem is, and we have an invalid zip code. So we can now send this back to the subcontractor or get the coordinator to fix the problem depending upon how the contract has been written. That you saw there that the file has now been updated, and the shellac that we entered, submittal information, is now updated, as is the semi-gloss has been updated. We wanted to review the sheet. It drops us back to the sheet where we're able to review the contents of the file. So you can see how instantly this has been updated, and we now know which files need to be returned back to the subcontractor, or simply open up and find out what the problem is and get it fixed. So in conclusion, we just want to go over that it's GBIM's material tracking tool has a web interface that's always live. It replaces static spreadsheets. It prompts for accurate reporting. It imports and validates the master log. It integrates with EcoReal tools, and it's very simple to use. And remember, the most important thing is make sure that this process is put into the bid specification and documented, as well as the requirement to comply and also what the penalty is for not complying. Thank you very much for your time today, and we shall see you later.